Good evening, good evening, good evening. I'm Sheraton, and this is my channel, Show in the Ends. Now, tonight, I'm going to be having a look at who will lead the SNP. I think I said in a previous video that I did on Nicola Sturgeon that it was definitely going to be a man, or that I see it being a man leading the SNP. But I saw some weird stuff around the man leading the SNP. On one hand, I felt like, is this going to be, will some of his actions be perceived as a betrayal of the values of the SNP? I did wonder about that. And I think tonight it would be a great opportunity to have a closer look. Now, there are three main candidates who've come forward to lead the SNP. And one of them is a woman by the name of Kate Forbes. I believe it's Kate Forbes. The other one is a man by the name of Yusuf Hamza, and the other one is I can't remember her name. Is it McGrath? I can't remember her name, but anyway, I'm gonna have a closer look and bring that up. I apologize for not putting anything in the chat, but I must confess that this one tonight I'm going to try to do very quickly because things are really heating up over here in the UK, and there's so much. I mean, there's so much that's happening today. There's the whole situation over the Northern Ireland Protocol, now called the Windsor Framework, that Rishi Sunak has brought in. And frankly, he has played a blinder. But to be honest, I always saw that because I always saw him still leading the party. So I knew that he wasn't a damp squib. And then, so there's the issues regarding the Northern Ireland Protocol and Boris's opposition to it. Then there's also the issues that Boris is having with the Privileges Committee, and the investigation into the Partygate scandal, the parliamentary investigation, because they're basically trying to work out if Boris Johnson lied standing on the floor of the Commons in his position as Prime Minister, and if he did, should he be penalised for that? So there's that. Then, of course, there's the whole situation surrounding, oh bloody hell, what's next? Is Rishi turning his back on Brexit? I've always said that Rishi was going
One of the most common questions I get asked by my students is, Justin,
sorry,
what are your thoughts on gluten?
Let me just turn that.
Is it bad?
Oh.
Eat burying fields of wheat and eating nothing but chickpea noodles?
Right, my apologies for that. Where was I? Yes. Then there's the whole situation going on around immigration and all these people protesting against it. There's something else as well, but I can't quite remember. There's so much that's happening. Oh bloody hell, there's so many things that are going on right now. I mean, oh yes, ugh, I mean, there's so many things. I can't even begin to go into all the things. There's so many things. You know, I want to say when I get confused. Oh, yes, yes. Around in the Partygate thing, there's this woman called Sue Gray who headed up the investigation for Partygate. And she headed up the investigation. She was seen as the most trusted advisor, the most trusted civil servant to launch the investigation. Unimpeachable, uncorruptible, the best of the best. And she delivered the report. And at the time, Boris said this report was fair and everything was above board and reasonable. But she's recently been accepted a job to work for Keir Starmer, the Labour Party, as their chief of staff in the run up to the general election. Now, all these top Tories who said that she was so wonderful and so amazing and uncorruptible and the best of the best, they're now saying that she's a spy and that she was some kind of Labour plant and all the rest of it. So there's that. Then there's a whole thing with Matt Hancock. Again, yes, my friend likes to call him Matt Hardcock, which I find absolutely hilarious. But yeah, there's a whole thing with him and his WhatsApp messages during the pandemic being exposed in many national newspapers. It makes him look terrible. Then, oh, flipping heck, what's next? I mean, there's so many things. This, oh yes, and then there's the latest that we hear about the Manchester Arena bombing. The MI5 had been what's the word? Encouraging known UK jihadi sympathizers to go to Libya and fight against Colonel Gaddafi. And that's a problem because when these people come home, they have battlefield training now. They can make bombs and they know how to shoot guns and do all that crazy stuff. And one of those people who came back from Libya ended up being their Manchester arena bomber. And and apparently it looks like the switch that he used to trigger the bomb. It looks like that switch was one he purchased overseas so that when he entered the country, if he had been searched, they would have found the switch and he wouldn't have been able to commit the bombing. You know, as I said, it's so many things. And that's why I got a bit frazzled just now. But yes, tonight's show, and this is what, 9 minutes in. Tonight's show is about the SNP. And I recently came across some information in regards to one of the in regards to Yusuf Hamza, and it made me do a double take, and it really is quite profound. So that's something I'm looking at tonight. So with all that being said, and it was a lot, the question I want to ask tonight in regards to the whole situation with the SNP. I'm not going to ask a very esoteric question like what is the spiritual meaning behind any of this, because that's something that's going to come up during the reading. What I want to ask is will he be the one to make Scottish independence? Will he be the driving force behind Scottish independence? Or mm, will he succeed? Will he succeed in is the drive for Scottish independence? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Let's see. Because I do believe he's going to be the one to win. Um, and I'm sticking to that. Hmm. Okay. Will he be successful whereas Nicola Sturgeon was not? You know what? Scottish independence. Is he the person to make it happen? Okay. Is he the person to make it happen? Yusuf Humza. Will he? Yusuf Humza. Okay. Will Yusuf Humza succeed in making Scotland independent from England? Right. Is he going to be the one to get Scotland independent from England? I really ought to edit this, but I'm just going to put my banner up there. And let me edit something here. I don't know. Let's see. Just changing something. Will. Okay. What was I doing? I was editing. Goodness gracious me. I'm so terrible. Will. Yusuf. Humza. Succeed. Okay. Right. Save. Bollocks. All right. I tried. Oh, something seems to have worked. Okay. Yes. Will he succeed? Will he succeed in getting Scotland's independence? Okay. You know what? I've had 3 cards fall out while I've been doing this. 3 cards have fallen out. The first card was Damsel. I was like, eh? The second card was Queen, and the third card was Mother. Maybe the question I should be asking, really and truly, is who will lead the SNP? because why am I getting so much feminine energy here? But I'm going to double down. I think Yusuf Hamza is going to win. So let me see what cards I'm drawn to pull, and not the ones that want to jump out of the pack. Okay. That one. Okay, let's see. That one. Okay. Right, so those are my 3 energy cards as to how successful he'll be. Okay, underlying issues. Will Yusuf Hamza succeed? Not only in becoming the next First Minister of Scotland, but will he succeed in getting an independent Scotland? Will he succeed? What's the energy? What are the underlying currents that we need to know? Will he succeed? Okay. Those. And then finally, tarot. All right, Spirit, what can you tell me about Yusuf Hamza and his bid to become SNP leader? Will he succeed in his bid in the desire for Scotland to gain its independence? Ooh, hello. Okay, all right then. All right then. You know what? I'm just going to go with, okay, will he actually win? Will he win? Will Yusuf Hamza become the next First Minister of Scotland? Okay, who will become the next Minister of Scotland? Because I asked about Yusuf Hamza, but I think I'm just going to go back to the who again. I'm sure what the cards told me, but let's see what happens. Okay, let's have a look. See, will it be him? All right, 7 of Swords. Something covert happening behind the scenes. Okay, covert maneuvers. The Thief in the Night. Deceit. hidden influences. The Knight of Swords. Information. Information coming out. But action on that information. I would say that there is dirty politics. People using the information to harm each other. So they're taking negative action on on information, taking action to spread that news to the media. But it's a knight, so a knight is action. Yeah, people taking action on the information they're receiving, they're not really liking very much. Misinformation. I would say that Knight of Swords is misinformation. Yeah. Deceit, misinformation, hidden influences, etc., etc. Okay, the base of the reading, this is about the house. This is about Holyrood House. It's funny, I'm looking at these cards, and at least two of them I have never pulled for a political reading before. Never pulled either one of these cards in this deck. I'm always funny with the knights. Always funny with the knights. Yeah. Okay. All right. Leadership, ambition, confidence, assertiveness, aggressiveness, force of intellect, communication. Yep. Okay. I would say if the Seven of Swords is about skullduggery and about misinformation, hidden influences, how can I say, dodginess, not being honest and deceit. Then the Knight of Swords is, in this case, is forthrightness, being very blatant and obvious. I'm thinking of Kate Forbes here and some of the things that she's come out and said. She's been very honest about who she is as a person and what she believes, regardless of whether it plays well politically or not. She made some very clear statements about her religious beliefs in regards to same-sex marriage, adoption, and apparently female clergy members, etc., etc. So, and she was looking like a very good person to replace Nicola Sturgeon. So now not so much. But yes, this one tells me this is about Holyrood House. Holyrood House, the Scottish Parliament, that is at the heart of the reading. Now, in regards to this reading, when I said who will it be? The Nine of Swords. In the past, there was much anxiety, many a sleepless night. It was kind of a nightmare, a worry, and a concern. But this card comes up as topping the reading. And it's come up before in regards to this whole subject. One of the things I asked in regard to this, and as I said, I mentioned it before, I saw a man being winning the leadership election, and it seemed to be a betrayal. Something that he does later seems to be a betrayal of the values of the SNP. So the question really arises, is this person going to betray the values of the SNP? Because then I switched it to who will lead the SNP. Or is this person, or is this the end of a cycle? Because I've got a 9 and a 10 of swords. In fact, I've only pulled 5 cards and 4 of them are swords. Well, whoever it's going to be, things are going to move very, very quickly. Very, 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 very quickly. And they're going to have to balance things. They're going to have to balance opposing forces. On their mind, when it comes to, I would say that this is less about who is going to win and more about what happens after the election is complete. On their minds, this is about money. And I have a feeling that this is about money on how Scotland's going to sustain itself after it leaves the UK, the United Kingdom. After it breaks union with England, how is Scotland going to maintain what they have? I believe that's what this is about. But the environment is one of justice. Okay. I think I'm beginning to see it now. I asked if there was going to be success with Scottish independence. That's what I initially asked. So the environment is one of justice, being judged, weighed and balanced. Another card that I very rarely, I've never seen in this deck. This is a reading first. Okay. The fear is that they'll have to step back from their fight for independence. That's the fear that comes in my concerns position. As an outcome, however, we have the Ace of Spears. So just what I'm seeing here, because I switched the question so many times and it's my fault. Menopause. Yeah, I said it. I don't care. That's going to be my new excuse for everything. Every time I turn up to a meeting early, like either by a week or a day, or I get confused over the time, which generally means I'm late, um, I'm going to just say menopause. That's going to be my new thing. In fact, today I had a situation where a young man was trying to come into my building and I didn't recognize him. And I was like, no, I'm not letting you into the building. I don't know you. There's people smoking drugs on the stairs. I don't know you. I'm not letting anyone in. And then it was only afterwards, as I kind of took my time to the lift, I realized that the door he buzzed for was one of my neighbor's doors. And there's a very nice young man who lives there. But because I didn't see his face properly, or maybe this young man seemed a little bit shorter than the young man I normally see, he seemed a bit shorter. I said, I don't know you. I'm not letting you in. They're actually very nice people. And then I came home and I grumbled to myself about it for about 5 or 10 minutes. And then I was like, oh, crumbs, I'm turning into my father, which is not the greatest thing, to be honest. It's not the greatest thing. I'm already a lot like my dad as it is, temperamentally speaking. But as I get older, yes, I would appear to be turning into my father, a person who can be quite belligerent, argumentative, and more than a bit miserable. Has a wonderful sense of humor. My father's a wonderful man and I love him dearly. But, I'm just being honest. And apparently it seems like I'm turning into him. So I'm just going to use menopause as the excuse. Okay. Right. Continue on with the reading because that's just a side note. Um, right. So, yes. What was I thinking? Okay. I was thinking about what I read on. So, what I'm seeing here, I believe, is not so much a question of whether Hamza is going to succeed. I already think he will. But I am seeing here the bid, the effort to go for Scottish independence and how that's going to turn out. Okay. So there's deception and covert maneuverings, followed by I forget what I was seeing with the Knight of Swords again. Yeah, menopause. Um that's my excuse, but I'm sticking to it. Okay. Was I seeing again with the Knight of the thing there? Yes. No. Yes. Leadership. Yeah. So that's Hamza. He's the Knight of Swords. Confidence. Okay. Decisive action. Force of intellect. Yeah, because none of this is. I'm not seeing any cups. There's no cups here. There's a couple of spears at the base of the reading and as the outcome card, but there's also a couple of major arcana, justice and the chariot. But yeah, this is mostly swords. So yeah, in regards to decisive action, forthrightness, and force of intellect, this would appear to be my use of Hamza card. For the time being, it could change. And that is crossing backdoor maneuvers. This is about Holyrood House and the Scottish Parliament. The anxiety, nightmare, worry, biting one's nails is in the past in regards to this issue because they feel they have a really good point and the Knight of Swords makes a really good case. but there would appear to either be the end of a cycle, which is quite possible, or at least a betrayal of sorts, a betrayal of the ideal of Scottish independence. And that crowns the reading. So that would be, yeah. But very quickly, he's going to try to move. He's going to try to move very quickly to get this whole independence movement effort back up again. But money is going to be a major concern, a major concern. New money, new revenue sources, and that might actually be a failing on maybe in part of the argument, but not necessarily even new money. Not new money, maybe in a material sense. In a material sense. In a material sense. Let's try in a material sense. Yeah. Physical matters. A new opportunity. They're going to try to go to court again. This is what this Ace of Pentacles is about. New opportunity. They will try to go to court again, and it will happen quickly because, as I said, immediate future, I have the Chariot, and they will go to court. They will go to court, and things will be balanced up. So they will try to take the British government to court again. They will lose. And from this loss, they will have to step back. This is my Four of Swords. So that could be why I have here the Traitor card. That could be why. But they are worried about losing. They are worried about losing. The outcome, though, does seem very nice. So that's the Ace of Spears. And as the Ace of Spears, you know, it's a very nice card. And it also means beginnings. New beginnings, the birth of a new enterprise, new life, a new venture. What I want to say here is that they're not going to give up. There is an end, a cycle that is ending, and a new beginning that is coming. But that Traitor card, that Ten of Swords, there's more going on with that Ten of Swords. That Ten of Swords is very significant. Very, very significant. I'm going to try and work out what it's about. Because it's niggling me. It's really niggling me. Okay, Spirit, please show me. What is that Ten of Swords about? Please show me. Hold on, did one just drop out? Probably not. That's my imagination. Menopause. Okay. What is that Ten of Swords about? What is that Ten of Swords about? Please, please, please show me what the Ten of Swords is about. What is the Ten of Swords about? The Magician. Okay, manipulation. Okay. King of Cups. Support. Support. Let's see. Who's giving the loving support? Well, no, I just want to know. show me more. Okay, so there's a manipulation happening, and there's a King of Cups, which is about leadership and support and a sensible masculine energy and wise counsel, compassion. But what else is this about? Loss. Loss. Manipulation, wise counsel, and lost. Well, if the wise counsel was that wise, then why the loss? If the counsel is that wise, why the loss? Really? I think it's someone behaving in a way that goes against the spirit of the SNP, the desire for independence. I said that before, and looking at these cards, I ain't changing it. So there's that. Now, let's have a look see. I did ask, is Hamza going to be the one to win? Or what's Hamza going to, will he have success? First, yes, will he be successful in his attempt to get SNP independence for Scotland? And it's looking like he loses a fight, but then the fight starts anew. But anyway, so the energy here is storyteller. The light attributes, ability to experience and express life through stories and symbols. Shadow is making up stories that harm others. Liberator. Light attributes, freeing yourself and others from outmoded beliefs, releasing negative thought patterns. Shadow, imposing your own tyranny over those you claim to liberate, ignoring legitimate constraints. And the last card I have here, Bully, highlights your tendency to intimidate others, helps you confront the inner fears that bully you. Shadow attribute conceals deep fears behind verbal or physical abuse. Okay, looking at these three cards here, the energy I see, and I ask the question, is Hamza going to be the one who is he going to succeed in Scotland becoming independent from the Union? Looking at these cards, I think I can say yes. He's got a powerful story to tell. He's has a deep desire to liberate Scotland from the Union, freeing yourself and others from outmoded beliefs. He's going to tell a very powerful story. He's going to use his voice very powerfully to appeal to those who might not naturally be particularly keen on the idea of Scottish independence. And he's going to do so in a way that makes people feel that, the Union should be a thing of the past. Behind closed doors or the way he gets things done, he's going to be incredibly aggressive, which frankly is indicated by, oops, this Knight of Swords. I think that there's a worry here, however, though, that he might overstep the mark when it comes to how aggressive he is. But let's have a look, see. Everything is about freedom. Freedom, 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 freedom. He wants to tell a story of Scotland um, being able to be free on the international stage and make their own way in the world. It comes from a pure place, a place of a true desire to see Scotland win. His love for his nation is very strong, and this ideal will bring him happiness. But, but, as I said, that traitor card was very interesting. It was, what was it there? Yes, yes, yes. People will think that he's moving in a way that goes against the ideals of the SNP. What he's trying to do, he's trying to shore up support. He's trying to use all his powers to shore up support, because he knows that while he has a very high chance of loss today, tomorrow is another day. And I think that's what that Ace of Spears points to. So on that note, my peoples, I will say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Thank you very much for joining me. And yes, I still stand by Hamza being the one who wins. But, and this is something that was recently brought to my attention, which I don't feel this video would be complete if I didn't mention it. Rishi Sunak is of an Indian background. He is a practicing Hindu. Yusuf Hamza, is of a Pakistani background and a practicing Muslim. Now, when I realized this, my jaw dropped open. The reason my jaw dropped open is because we are in a situation where history is rhyming. I believe it was late 1940s when India finally got their independence from the British Empire. And so they threw off the shackles of the British Empire and they got their independence. And very soon after getting their independence, partition happened. Now, I don't know how many of you are aware of what went down during partition between India and Pakistan, but it has to be one of the most awful, tragic, horrendous loss of life. I mean, the civil war is always the worst type, but my goodness gracious me, it was awful. And So after India gets its independence, partition happens between Pakistan and India. So they're now, instead of one nation, they're now two nations. I think Bangladesh also, something, I don't know. I can't pretend that I am deeply knowledgeable about it because I'm not. But what I find interesting in this situation is that you have a smaller country, a country with a much smaller population, Scotland, seeking independence from a union with England, the United Kingdom. And now you have the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom is Indian, from an Indian Hindu background. And soon, come March 27th, I believe so, you will have Yusuf Hamza, a man from a Pakistani Muslim background, as the First Minister of Scotland, seeking the partition within the Union, seeking independence from the Union. Someone mentioned recently to me about that the UK was going through its Pluto return, because there's the Pluto return between the UK and the US, where they lost the War of Independence to the United States. And that whilst America has been going through its own Pluto return, the UK are also going through their Pluto return as well. And it takes, like, I think a couple hundred years or something like that. And I have to say, quite frankly, that the last few years have seemed very fated, very much like these types of things are always going to happen. And these things happened because of the decisions that we made in the past. So they were actually inevitable. And that there is some element of karma or justice happening because of the things that happened in the past. I have to say, looking at this whole leadership contest, looking at everything that's happened, the surprise exit of Nicola Sturgeon, the way that Rishi Sunak ended up becoming Prime Minister, even though a year before he became Prime Minister, I said he was going to be the next Prime Minister, the way Liz Truss kind of popped up and then dashed out, you know, these are unprecedented times. And frankly, when times are unprecedented, it's kind of like saying that from a spiritual perspective, they're mandated because they are so unusual. So we are living through incredibly unusual times. And it seems like, I don't know if it's karma or what exactly it is, but it seems like the way that fate is turning, if you are a student of history, you are sitting back with your mouth open like, oh my gosh. So, yeah, a person of Pakistani descent and a person of Indian descent will be overseeing the partition of the United Kingdom. If that ain't karma, I do not know what is. So, on that note, people, good night.